Now it's time to make our stacked wall, not with just one single second floor wall here, but we need to add these components up here as well. And let's see, actually this, now that I look at it, this is for a brick second floor wall, not for a wood siding second floor wall, but nonetheless, we can continue. These are the two pieces that go on top of that wall. And we don't know at this point, as we're creating our model, we don't know several things. One is, what's the pitch of the roof? We don't know that. That's a long ways away before we work on that. What's our overhang going to be? And what is the fascia board size going to be? It could be 1x8, 1x10, 1x12. There are a lot of different variables that will determine what the height. So in this particular case, in order for this to work, this height had to be 4 5/8 inches. So we would end up modifying this as we develop the model more. But we're going to put in, we'll make it 4 5/8 inches and 9 3/8 inches. We'll make those two. So the bottom one is going to be 4 5/8 inches, and the top will be 9 3/8 inches. And as you develop your own model, you may have a different roof pitch than this. You may have a different fascia size. You may have a different overhang, and all of those things will change where exactly the height of this these two components would be. And so, but we'll use that for now, and we're going to make a second. We're going to make a second stacked wall. So here's our first stacked wall. Let's get back here. That's our first stacked wall. That's our exterior house wall. Now, what I like to do is actually, if you take a look at, let's see, what's the best way to show you that real quick? Might not be able to show it. Yeah, let's take a look at section 1. No, that is section 1. All right. I like to keep a working example of all of my different stacked walls in my project. And so I'm going to say that this is going to be maybe my working example area. So I'm just going to copy this guy over to here, and I'm going to click on him. We're going to do the same thing, edit the type. We're going to duplicate it, and we're going to call it exterior house wall 2. And we'll say, okay. So I'm going to keep my exterior house wall as we've made it, but now we're going to change it, and we're going to add 2 more at the top. We're going to add 2 more. I'm trying to find, I guess it'd be these 2 right here. So this guy, we're going to make this height, what did we say, 9 3/8. That didn't work out too well. All right, let's change that to 9 3/8 inches. And then we're going to change this guy to 4 5/8 inches. Okay, so let's check that out of there. Okay, we're going to make that 0, 4 5/8. Okay, so I've got these 2 different stacked walls in here. Now my issue is, remember that this total wall height has to, let's say okay to that for just a second. The total wall height has to be 8 foot 0 5/8. Okay, so that's, I've added 2 more pieces to that. So I have to subtract those 2, add these 2 heights together and subtract it from my 8 foot 0 5/8, because that's the total height. So 5 5/8 and 3/8 is 8/8, which is 1 inch. So I have 9 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14. So I have to subtract 14 inches, or 1 foot 2, from 8 foot 0 5/8. So if I make this 10 inches, That'll be my 2. And I take this from 8 to 7. So these 3 should still add up to 8 foot, 0 and 5/8. So let's see if in fact it does. 3/8 and 5/8 is an inch, and 5/8, we'll leave that. So 9 and 4 is 13, plus that 1 inch is 14. So that's 24. So that's 2 feet, 7, 8, 9 foot, 0 and 5/8. So it adds up. Okay, so we put those 2 in. We haven't changed the types yet. So we're going to change this from wall type 7. We'll change it to wall type 5. And we're going to change this guy from 7. We're going to change that to 4A. All right. Now, I said we made a mistake on that one. And we're going to have to offset this guy by let's try an inch and see what happens. It's a -1 inch. Let's see what happens there. That looks okay. That looks like it lines up. But here, I got to take out, I have to take out the 4 inches that we put in there for that. So 4A, we're going to have to change. So we'll say okay to that. We'll say okay to that. And so now it's a little goofy, but we're getting closer to where we want to be. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to floor plan. We're going to go wall. We're going to go back to 4A is what we're looking for. This is not the floor plan that we want to be dealing with. We want to be dealing with level 1. Let's try that. Okay, now we're looking for architecture wall 4A. I'm going to edit 4A, duplicate it, and we're going to call it, we'll call it 4A2. That's fine. And I want to take out this piece here. Remember I said I want to take out that 4 inch because this particular wall assembly is if there were brick on the second floor, and there isn't. So I'm going to delete that. And I think we're in good shape now. Yeah, that looks good to me. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to say okay. Now we'll go back to that object right here. We're going to edit this type. And we're going to come over here, and instead of being 4A, we're going to put 4A2 and see what happens. Looks like I didn't save it. After I did all that work, I didn't save it. So we'll say okay to that. And okay to that. Go back to level 1. We'll go back to architecture wall. There's a 4A2 in here. So that's very interesting to me why we don't see that. Let's see, what's this guy? Exterior house wall, exterior house 2. Okay, so that's the one we want to edit, but I want to put in 4A2 here, and I didn't see that. That's interesting. I see it. The only thing possible here is that I'm working in 2 different. No, I don't think so. I'm trying to figure out what my issue is here. Well, let's see. Okay, so what had happened here is I made 4A2 in a different model because I have several different models open, really just for demonstration purposes. But what I ended up demonstrating was the fact that I wasn't paying close enough attention to what I was doing, and I built 4A2, that wall type, in the wrong project. So when I tried to change this 4A to 4A2 in this project, 4A2 didn't exist. So I had to copy it from, I just simply copied it and pasted it from, I copied it from the model that I actually made 4A2 in, and I pasted it into the model that I'm working on here. So we're going to edit this type. And we're going to edit here, and we're just going to say change 4A to 4A2. And let's say, let's take a look and see how that looks now. Yeah, that looks better. You can see that that wall looks better. So now I'm going to say okay to that. I'm going to say okay to that. And now we have two different wall types here. We have the one which just has the two different stacked walls. They're exactly the same except for what's going on at the top here. And this is just a simple second floor wall from the second floor all the way up to the top of a second floor wall. And this is a second floor, is a stacked wall that I haven't subtracted the distance I'm supposed to take out from here. I did it in, so let's take a look here and see what's going on. 7'10", and that should be, that should 7, that's the correct, 7'10" plus 4, 9 is 12, 13, okay, and okay. So this is good because now you can see that I've got a problem here, that the height of this wall is 9 foot 0 and 5/8 when I really want it to be 8 foot 0 and 5/8. So I need to take out, my math was done poorly. I need to take out another foot from this wall right here. Instead of being, this wall here, instead of being 7'10", I need to make it 6'10". And let's see if that fixes everything. Yep, now everything's fine. So the total height of that wall now is 8 foot 0 and 5/8, and look at how everything lines up and everything works. So rushing through it a little bit too quickly, I believe, caused me some errors, but the nice part about those errors were that I was able to hopefully illustrate the solution or the resolution of those problems. But the important thing is that the bond areas line up with where we're going to put our floor joists. That's the important thing. So we have to make sure that those heights are correct. Now, it's very important to me and to you too that you understand stacked walls. So we're going to build a couple more stacked walls in the next few tutorials. The reason that it's really important is because it's a powerful tool for Revit. But also, with respect to this class, your midterm will be to create a stacked wall. So when the midterm shows up, I will give you a PDF of a stacked wall with all the different wall types that go into that wall and all the different elevations or levels or dimensions of the different heights of all of these different walls. And your midterm will be to create that stacked wall. So it's important that you understand stacked walls. This tutorial might be helpful to you. It might have confused you a little bit, but remember, we also have the in-class sessions where I can help everybody at the same time. And we also have the ability to have private outside of class one-on-one Zoom sessions, both during my office hours and basically at any time that's convenient for both of us. Just send me a text message to my phone number and ask for a private Zoom meeting, and I'll get back with you either immediately, most likely, or shortly, and we'll set up a time that works for both of us. And then we'll take as much time as it takes for you to understand this. But the point that I'm trying to make is that your midterm will be on the exercise of creating a stacked wall. And so you really do need to understand how to create stacked walls. And when you make a mistake, like I just illustrated there, I wish I could say that was intentional, but it was an accident. When a mistake is made, or an error, then we have to figure out how to remedy that. And because I've had a lot of experience in mistakes in my life with respect to Revit, I saw what very quickly how to remedy that issue. You are learning stacked walls for the first time, so it might take you a lot longer to have noticed the error, number one, and then try to figure out how to fix that for number two. But anyway, that's our second stacked wall tutorial.